Justin Bieber revealing on social media that he has been diagnosed with Ramsay.
I've realized after a series of tests that I have what's called Lyme disease.
The world of celebrities has always fascinated millions of people across the globe because beyond the flashing lights, the screaming fans, and the endless red carpets, there are stories that touch the heart, stories of resilience, stories of overcoming challenges, and stories that remind us that behind the fame there are human beings just like us. And when we look at someone like Justin Bieber, we see not just a superstar but a young boy who rose from singing covers on YouTube to becoming one of the biggest music icons in the world. And his journey has been filled with so many highs and lows, from massive chart-topping hits to deeply personal struggles, including his very public battle with Ramsay Hunt syndrome, which shocked his fans worldwide when he revealed that part of his face was temporarily paralyzed due to the virus. And for Justin, it was not just a health scare, but also a moment of reflection, a time when he had to pause his relentless career to focus on healing, because even the strongest stars sometimes need to step back and care for themselves. And fans were heartbroken to see him cancel shows on his Justice World Tour. But at the same time, they admired his honesty, his bravery, and his commitment to recovery. Because in the entertainment world, vulnerability is not weakness, it is strength. And Justin showed that strength by opening up and sharing updates as he slowly regained movement. And while the recovery time for Ramsay Hunt varies for different people, for Justin it lasted months, where he had to undergo therapy, rest, and support from his loved ones, especially Hailey Bieber, who stood by him every step of the way, proving that love and support mean everything in difficult times. And this personal health battle brought Justin even closer to his fans, who flooded social media with prayers and uplifting messages, showing that the bond between celebrities and their supporters can be deeply emotional and inspiring. And Justin turned this painful chapter into a story of resilience and faith, something that reflects his entire journey as an artist. Because for years, he has been both celebrated and criticized, but always able to rise again, whether it was bouncing back from controversies, reinventing his sound with albums like Purpose Changes and Swag, or connecting to his fans on a more spiritual and personal level. Justin's story is one of growth, healing, and perseverance. And when we look beyond him, we realize that so many other celebrities too have faced obstacles that tested their limits, and yet their comebacks have inspired millions, like Selena Gomez, who also has been open about her own health struggles, including lupus and a kidney transplant, and later her advocacy for mental health and women's empowerment, which has made her a role model for young fans worldwide. Or Demi Lovato, who despite facing personal battles, found the courage to turn her pain into powerful music that connects with people who may be going through something similar, showing that celebrities are not just entertainers, but real people who can make others feel less alone in their struggles. And if we shift our gaze to other corners of the globe, we see Bollywood stars like Priyanka Chopra, who rose from a small-town girl in India to becoming an international icon, balancing film projects, charity work, and her role as a UN ambassador, where she speaks passionately about education for girls and opportunities for women around the world, showing that fame is not just about glamour, but about using influence for positive change. And then we look at fashion icons like Rihanna, who built her empire not only as a singer, but as the founder of Fenty Beauty, a brand that broke barriers in the beauty industry by celebrating diversity and inclusivity. And at the same time, her involvement in philanthropy and her humanitarian work in Barbados earned her recognition far beyond the music charts, because she represents strength, creativity, and giving back. And in Hollywood, we cannot forget the inspiring story of Robert Downey Jr., who went from battling personal struggles and setbacks to becoming one of the most beloved actors in the world, thanks to his role as Iron Man in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, proving that comebacks are always possible when there is determination and growth. And this is why the world of celebrities continues to keep us engaged, because we see them fall, we see them rise. And in their stories, we often find pieces of ourselves reflected, and as we continue looking deeper into the journeys of stars, we realize that every story has lessons to teach us. Because when Justin Bieber openly spoke about his health struggles, it wasn't just news. It was a reminder that even those who seem to have it all can face unexpected battles, and what truly mattered was how he chose to handle it, with honesty, with vulnerability, and with hope. And that honesty resonated with fans who themselves may be dealing with difficulties in their lives, making his story more relatable and powerful. And this thread of resilience can also be found in the lives of other celebrities like Lady Gaga, who has been vocal about her chronic pain condition, fibromyalgia. And despite the setbacks, she has continued to create breathtaking performances like her Super Bowl halftime show, and her award-winning role in A Star Is Born, showing that strength is not about hiding struggles, but embracing them and turning them into art. And then there is Taylor Swift, who went from a young country singer to one of the biggest pop stars in the world, facing media scrutiny, public feuds, and battles for her music rights. Yet instead of being crushed, she reinvented herself, again and again, with albums like Reputation, Folklore, and Midnights. And through it all, she showed fans that reinvention is possible, and growth is beautiful. And if we turn towards someone like Selena Gomez, her resilience shines in how she used her platform to discuss the importance of mental health openly through projects like her documentary, My Mind and Me, and her rare beauty brand, which emphasizes self-love and kindness. And in sharing her truth, she created a safe space for millions who often feel unseen and unheard, and this thread of vulnerability turned to empowerment also connects us to stars like Ariana Grande, who, after experiencing the tragedy of the Manchester attack, used her music and her strength to bring healing to fans worldwide, proving that, even in darkness, light can be found when people come together in love. And if we look outside of music to the world of acting, we see similar stories of triumph, like Zendaya, who started out on Disney Channel and worked her way up to become a fashion icon, an Emmy-winning actress, and a voice of her generation, using her influence to champion representation and authenticity. And when she walked on red carpets wearing bold fashion choices, or when she spoke out on issues important to her community, she showed that celebrities can use their visibility, not just to shine, but to empower others. And then if we explore the sports world, we find athletes like Serena Williams, who broke barriers in tennis, not just with her unmatched talent, but also with her advocacy for women athletes, mothers, and people of color facing criticism, yet proving time and again that resilience and excellence go hand in hand. And her journey, just like Justin Bieber's story of recovery, highlights how strength is not defined by never falling, but by always rising again. And the same can be said for someone like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who started with humble beginnings, facing rejections and failures, but built himself into one of the most beloved and successful stars in Hollywood. Known not just for his blockbuster roles, but also for his kindness, his motivational spirit, and his ability to connect with fans on a personal level. And when you hear him talk about family, about struggle, and about perseverance, you feel inspired to push through your own challenges. And what makes all these stories so captivating is how seamlessly they flow into each other. Because whether it's music, acting, fashion, or sports, the underlying theme is the same: dreams, struggles, resilience, comebacks, and achievements. And in every corner of the globe, from Hollywood to Bollywood to K-pop, we find celebrities who embody these journeys, like BTS, who went from a small group in South Korea to global superstars, breaking records, performing at stadiums, and delivering messages of self-love and positivity through their music, while still showing gratitude and humility toward their fans, known as the ARMY, who support them endlessly. And their story echoes the same resilience seen in Justin Bieber's recovery from Ramsay Hunt syndrome, because it reminds us that challenges do not define us, but how we overcome them does. And as we follow these stories further, it becomes clear that the beauty of celebrity culture is not only in the success we see on stage, but in the courage they display off stage. And Justin Bieber's decision to speak openly about his Ramsay Hunt syndrome journey created space for fans to talk about health struggles in their own lives, and that act of openness mirrors what so many other stars have done by transforming pain into platforms for inspiration, like Beyoncé, who turned personal heartbreak into the masterpiece Lemonade, blending vulnerability with empowerment and showing women everywhere that strength comes from embracing your truth. And her husband Jay-Z mirrored that with his album 444, where he shared his personal growth and lessons learned, reminding the world that growth is possible at any stage in life. And then there is Adele, who has built her career on sharing her heart with fans through music, taking breaks when life demanded it, only to return stronger with songs like Hello and Easy on Me, proving that sometimes stepping back is the most powerful move an artist can make. And this is exactly what Justin did during his recovery, pausing his Justice World Tour not as a sign of weakness, but as an act of self-care and strength. And if we look further, we see Oprah Winfrey, whose entire career is an example of turning challenges into triumph. She rose from poverty and hardships to become one of the most influential women in the world, using her platform to inspire, educate, and uplift millions. And her story proves that no matter where you start, your journey can lead to unimaginable heights if you stay authentic and persistent. And then there are global icons like Shakira, who combined her unique artistry with activism, using her success to promote education for underprivileged children in Colombia, showing that fame can be used for far more than personal gain. And in the modern wave of global music, Blackpink stand tall as symbols of empowerment. Their rise from trainees in Korea to international superstars dominating charts and fashion runways shows the impact of dedication, teamwork, and confidence. And they, like BTS, have become inspirations not just for their music, but for the way they uplift their fans by encouraging individuality and resilience. And if we return to Hollywood, Zendaya continues to shine not only as a talented actress, but as a role model for young fans, proving that grace, authenticity, and boldness can coexist in a world that often pressures celebrities to conform. And her journey feels so much like the next chapter in the evolving story of young Hollywood. And all of this ties back to the reality that Justin Bieber's openness about Ramsay Hunt syndrome. His courage to pause and his determination to heal places him among those icons who remind the world that strength comes from facing life head-on and not shying away from the hard truths. Because in the end, fans are not only drawn to the glamour, but to the humanity behind the stars, the tears, the struggles, and the perseverance that make their triumphs even more beautiful. And when we think of comebacks, one of the most powerful examples is Robert Downey Jr., whose early career was overshadowed by struggles and setbacks, but who reinvented himself through perseverance and resilience, eventually becoming the face of the Marvel Cinematic Universe as Iron Man. And his story is a reminder that even when life seems impossible, redemption and greatness are always within reach. And that is why fans connected so deeply with Justin Bieber when he paused his Justice World Tour due to Ramsay Hunt syndrome, because they knew that stepping back for healing is part of the journey and not the end of it. And just like Robert, Justin has proven that each challenge can be transformed into a platform for growth. And then we see Miley Cyrus, who reinvented herself countless times, transitioning from Hannah Montana to bold pop icon, and then showing a softer, more reflective side with songs like Flowers, which became a global anthem of independence and resilience. And Miley, like Justin, understands that growth often comes from embracing the uncomfortable and transforming it into art. And then we look at Rihanna, who paused her music career to focus on building a beauty empire with Fenty Beauty and Savage X Fenty, redefining what it means to be a celebrity entrepreneur while also being celebrated for her humanitarian work. And when she returned to the stage for the Super Bowl halftime show after years away, the world erupted in celebration because her comeback symbolized patience, strength, and reinvention. And these stories all connect to the theme of resilience, which is exactly what Justin embodied during his months of recovery from Ramsay Hunt syndrome, reminding his fans that healing is not linear, but it is always possible with time, care, and love. And beyond these familiar names, we also look to Demi Lovato, whose strength in facing personal battles inspired her to use her music as a beacon of hope for fans who might be struggling, and Ariana Grande, who after unimaginable tragedy in Manchester, used her music and spirit to bring healing and comfort to millions, showing that celebrities can play a vital role in moments of global grief. And then in the world of sports, we have Serena Williams, who showed that resilience is not only about athletic victories, but about challenging norms, balancing motherhood and career, and redefining what it means to be a champion. And in football, Lionel Messi stands as an example of persistence, proving that even after years of challenges with Argentina, he could lead his nation to World Cup glory. And in all of these journeys, we find echoes of Justin's resilience, because whether it is music, acting, sports, or philanthropy, the core truth remains the same. Challenges do not define you, but how you respond to them does. And Justin's decision to share his struggle openly turned a health battle into an inspiring reminder of perseverance.